The 2024 Great American Solar Eclipse is a rare celestial event that many have been looking forward to for years. On April 8th, afternoon will turn to twilight from northern Mexico to New England as the moon temporarily shades parts of the Earth. The path of the total solar eclipse stretches across the U.S., from cities in Texas like San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas, up through the Midwest to cities like Indianapolis and Cleveland, before departing through New England and off the East Coast in Maine. I'm Betsy Kling, and in this solar eclipse special, we are helping you prepare for the big event and sharing what you need to know before heading outside to see this incredible sight. First up, there are 4 types of solar eclipses. This year's event is a total solar eclipse, which occurs when the moon blocks the entire face of the sun. People in the middle of the moon's shadow will experience a total eclipse, meaning the sky will darken as if it were dusk or dawn. They'll see what's called the sun's corona, or outer atmosphere, which we usually can't see because of the brilliance of the sun. Next up is the annular solar eclipse. This is what many folks saw back in October. The annular eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and Earth, but this time it's at its furthest point from Earth. That means it doesn't completely cover the sun, but creates a dark disk surrounded by what looks like a glowing ring. Because the face of the sun isn't completely covered, you need to keep your eclipse glasses on to enjoy an annular eclipse. Depending on where you are, you may experience a partial solar eclipse. This happens both during a total and annular eclipse, when only part of the sun is covered by the moon, giving it a crescent shape. And lastly, a hybrid solar eclipse. Because the Earth is curved, there are times an eclipse can switch between an annular and a total solar eclipse as it moves across. The next one of these will be in 2031. For more on the science behind the solar eclipse and some terminology you should know, we turn to meteorologist Ryan Choptaw.
When you look into the night sky, what do you see? Stars, planets, comets? It makes you think how large everything is and how small we really are. And on Earth, we view these stars every single night. Something else we see is the moon that orbits our planet. Some planets like Jupiter, according to NASA, have over 80 moons. While we only have one, our moon can display some spectacular sights. From different moon phases to eclipses, these astronomical phenomena draw millions to watch. And some are rare to see based on time, location, and the positioning of these celestial objects. Back in October, you may remember an annular eclipse was visible across numerous states. And coming up on April 8th, 2024, will be the main event, a total solar eclipse. Let's explain. An eclipse is when the moon passes in between the sun and the Earth, allowing for a shadow to reach the Earth's surface, leaving some in darkness as the shadow moves across the planet. Now, the main distinction is position. Remember, the moon's orbit around the Earth isn't a perfect circle, nor is the Earth's orbit around the sun. It's more of an ellipse, or an oval shape. Because of this, it causes the moon to push and pull during different phases. One position is called apogee, when the moon is farther and smaller in the sky. The second position is perigee, when it's closer and larger. But because of this oval orbit and its slight tilt, we don't see an eclipse every month. It rarely lines up perfectly. The moon is either too high or too low relative to Earth to block the sun. So it takes a rare moment when the moon's orbit lines up exactly for the Earth to witness an eclipse. When it's farther away, typically, the moon doesn't fully cover the sun, leading to an annular eclipse. When it's annular, the shadow the moon creates on Earth is a very small area when projected onto the surface. The penumbra is the larger part of the shadow that is lighter than the center, where the umbra is the darker part of the shadow, which again is a very small area. While the penumbra can stretch hundreds of miles across continents, the umbra, the darkest part of the shadow, typically will have a width of around 90 miles, which means only some are able to see totality or annularity depending on the type of eclipse.
Now, while not everyone will see a total solar eclipse this year, most of the United States should see at least a partial eclipse. How much you will see will depend on how close or far away you are from the path of totality. For a closer look at the path and the timing of it all, here's meteorologist Chris Mulcahy.
Are you ready? The hype is building. The 2024 Great American Eclipse is on the horizon. April 8th, 2024. We are going to have a path of totality going across the United States, spanning 13 states. So that's this line right here, starting in Mexico, exiting off towards the northeast out of Maine. But most of the United States will at least see a partial solar eclipse. As for the Charlotte area, the Carolinas, it's going to be anywhere from about a 70 to an 85% partial eclipse. There's a lot of big cities that are going to be in the path of totality, and it's rare to have an event like this affect such a big area of the United States, and we're not going to have another one of these for decades to come of this magnitude. So this is including places like Waco, Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas, then moving into Arkansas, Hot Springs. We have Little Rock that is going to be right in the total path. A lot of big cities here. Then moving into Illinois, this is going to happen around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Indianapolis is going to be affected by this. And then you have Dayton, Ohio, and then Toledo's going to just touch it. Columbus is just on the outskirts, similar to what Charlotte was back in 2017. Cleveland right in the mass of that. You can see it over Lake Erie, Buffalo, New York, Rochester, and then eventually Burlington, Vermont is going to see this in the northern part of Maine before it exits out into New Brunswick, Canada. This is going to be a big time event. So if you want to see it in person, you're only going to see a partial eclipse here in the Charlotte area, but any one of those spots I just showed you, that's where you can see the show.
As the excitement builds for the upcoming eclipse, it's important you and your family know how to view it safely. Chris Lawrence explains what those in the path of totality and in partial eclipse need to know.
You must use what are called ISO certified safe solar eclipse glasses. These protect your eyes when the sun is not yet fully eclipsed. Keep in mind, sunglasses and most welding filters aren't dark enough to protect your eyes. It can actually lead to damage. Once the sky is dark, you'll see the solar corona. That's your cue to take off your glasses in view. The solar corona is a glowing white ring around the sun made of gases. They're usually hidden by the bright lights of the sun. And for areas of the country that will only see a partial solar eclipse, you'll have to keep your glasses on for the entire event. Outside of totality, there is no time when it's safe to look directly at the sun without eclipse glasses.
When it comes to finding and buying eclipse glasses, you need to make sure you are buying the correct type to keep your eyes protected. Some vendors are claiming their glasses are safe because they're certified by NASA. But are they really? Cheryl Mercedes verifies.
On April 8th, the moon is expected to pass between the sun and the earth, and the sky will go dark for approximately 5 minutes. If you live in the path of the eclipse, you'll likely be able to see the sun's corona. But NASA says it's not safe to look up without eye protection made for solar viewing. Some online vendors like this one claim their glasses are NASA approved. The description for these says they surpass NASA's stringent safety standards.
But does NASA approve eyewear for solar viewing? Let's verify. Our source for this is NASA.
The government agency tells the Verify team NASA does not certify eclipse glasses, does not endorse or certify any products, or respond to questions on the quality of products sold on the internet. Any glasses we hand out as part of our community events comply with the ISO International Safety Standard. The agency shared a link to the American Astronomical Society's website, which explains its product testing standards and lists suppliers who pass its inspection. Solar Eclipse International, the company that makes these glasses, is on the list. But we can verify the claim that they are approved by NASA is false. With your Verify, I'm Cheryl Mercedes.
For more tips on how to protect your eyes during the eclipse, the Associated Press spoke with the makers of some eclipse glasses.
The astronomical phenomenon of an eclipse is a known wonder of the human experience. As long as people have been attempting to watch an eclipse, they've also realized that they should probably protect themselves.
Today we have good standards and excellent standards really for protecting eyesight. We noticed that in 2017 that the market got flooded with unsafe Eclipse glasses. One look through an unsafe Eclipse glass, in several seconds your eyes can be damaged, either partially or permanently. So if you have Eclipse glasses, you're looking for this ISO certification on them.
The sun, while it is super important to life on Earth, it's also got a lot of harmful radiation that you don't see, but it is there because it's at a wavelength that you actually can't detect, but your eye is going to be sensitive to it. And so at no point is it safe to look directly at the sun. It is not safe to look at the sun, even with sunglasses. In order to look at the sun, you need to ensure that whatever eyewear you have on or protective gear is blocking all of the dangerous radiation from you, the ones that your eye can't see or detect. As soon as you're ready to start witnessing the eclipse, the glasses should go on. Get your eye actually used to watching the sun, the way it will look. Everything else will be dark around you. The sun will be the one thing that's very clear to you. When the moment of totality comes, if you're in the path of totality, you are allowed to take those glasses off and watch it safely. The American Astronomical Society, which is the largest group of astronomers in the United States, that's an organization, has some recommendations of glasses that you could buy.
Buy them early. It's already happening now. All the guys that have Eclipse glasses are starting to sell out.
Solar eclipses are nature's greatest astronomical show. It's rare to get this kind of accessibility to nature's astronomical phenomenon. It is, I promise you, not something you'll forget if you actually go and see it.
If you were lucky enough to see the solar eclipse in 2017, you might already have glasses on hand. But are the old glasses still safe to use for this upcoming eclipse? Stephanie Haney spoke with the experts to find out.
It's well established that in order to safely look at a total solar eclipse, you need to be wearing proper eye protection. And on April 8th, Northeast Ohio will be in the path of totality of a total solar eclipse for the first time since 2017. Because of this rare event coming up so soon, we've noticed this trending internet search in Northeast Ohio. Are eclipse glasses from 2017 still safe to use? According to NASA, the next total solar eclipse that will be visible in the U.S. won't happen again until August 23rd, 2044. So it makes a lot of sense to reuse what you already have if you can. So to verify the answer to this question, we checked with a scientist from the Great Lakes Science Center, Community Engagement Coordinator and former NASA educator Jandar Bradshaw. Bradshaw tells us that there are a few things to check for when trying to determine if your 2017 solar eclipse glasses are still safe to use on April 8th. First, check the ISO number. This number refers to the type of filter that's on the glasses that's needed to block the sun's harmful solar radiation, and it needs to be certified at ISO 12312-2, 2015. Second, check the condition of your glasses. Bradshaw says that even if the ISO number is correct, you still need to make sure the lenses aren't damaged, ripped, or scratched to make sure they're safe for direct solar viewing. So we can verify that, yes, it's true that eclipse glasses from 2017 are still safe to use as long as they're in good condition and certified at ISO 12312-2, 2015.
While most people are excited for the Great American Solar Eclipse, there have been others throughout history who have regarded the event as a bad omen. That has caused various myths to spread over the years about the eclipse. But as meteorologist Christina San Juan explains, there is no need to be concerned.
Here's a widely popular myth that's still circulating to this day. Pregnant women should not go outside during a solar eclipse because of a special radiation produced that would harm the unborn child, leading to physical deformities, cleft lip, and birthmarks. Now, beyond the solar rays allegedly affecting expecting mothers, some believe it will also poison or contaminate your food, saying you must fast during an eclipse because any food cooked or eaten during an eclipse will be contaminated or poisonous. But as we now know, the rays emitted during an eclipse are not different from any other day. Just be sure to wear proper eye protection. Now let's talk about birthdays. Is yours April 8th or October 8th? A solar eclipse on your birthday or 6 months after has been believed to be a sign of impending bad health. But don't worry, there's no science to back this up. The science we do have now allows us to know what causes an eclipse, and it's not because a beast is attacking the sun or that the once fiery golden sun went out like a candle. Tribes in Peru would shoot flaming arrows into the sky with hopes to scare away that said beast. Now, the Chippewa did the same, though their intention was to reignite the sun with the flames. Not all of these myths are about doom and gloom, though. Legend has it that if you plant flowers during an eclipse, they will bloom brighter and more colorful than they otherwise would. While these age-old superstitions may cast shadows of uncertainty, the light of scientific knowledge illuminates our understanding, allowing us to look forward with anticipation, not fear, to the rare spectacle that is a total solar eclipse.
If you plan to watch the solar eclipse on April 8th, you can expect peak totality to last up to 4 minutes and 28 seconds. That is twice as long as the total solar eclipse in 2017. But what else should you expect from the big event? The Associated Press spoke with a space expert from Rice University who details the experience.
A total solar eclipse occurs somewhere on Earth almost every year, but in any given spot, it may be only every 350 years or so. I've seen a lot of eclipses, but I had to go all the way around the world. So you have to go where the shadow is. So a few minutes before totality, when the sun gets to be really, really skinny, there's a diffraction pattern of sunlight that is on the ground, but it's sweeping past you at 1,000 miles an hour. And so you see that light on the ground look like little ripples. Then you get the diamond ring, which is the last bit of sunlight before it gets covered up. When the corona comes out and it goes total, it's like this eyeball looking at you from space, and it has this white halo around it. So during totality, you'll see what appears to be sunset all the way around. It'll be reddish. And that's because those regions aren't in totality. They're still getting a little sunshine, and so we're seeing the scattered light from their sunlight. And so in the country, your skies will get darker, and you'll see more planets. The temperature change will be definitely noticeable. Then as it comes out, you'll see this, what we call Bailey's beads, the little red beads along the horizon. And when you see that, you know totality is about over. And then here comes the diamond ring. And then you have the same things on the other side. You get the shadow bands. It's a real visceral experience. And the whole anticipation, is the weather gonna hold? Is it gonna work out? Adds to the magic and mystery of it. So, you know, when it really happens, it's just an amazing rush.
After April's total solar eclipse, the next notable ones will be in Greenland and Iceland and Spain in 2026. Northern Africa and the Saudi Peninsula in 2027, Australia and New Zealand in 2028, and Africa and Australia in 2030. Here in the U.S., we won't see our next total eclipse until August of 2044, and that one will run through Greenland, Canada, and into Montana and North Dakota. The following year, you'll see a total eclipse cross from California to Florida. Whether you're traveling to the path of totality or taking in a partial eclipse, we hope you enjoy and safely watch the April 8th total solar eclipse. Make sure you don't forget your eclipse glasses. Thanks for watching. I'm Betsy Kling.